You're good.
We good?
Yep.
Okay, Nick Aslini's here, Tim
Here.
Kiernan,
Here.
Chris is here, Parker's here,
Present.
Rick Dival, me.
Yo.
So that's everybody but Darlene, right? Reagan. Okay. Then she may get on later. Okay, so the first thing we start off with is approval of the minutes from the last meeting.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Okay.
I'll second
Rick
that.
Dival, who seconded?
Tim.
Tim, okay.
I have
All those in favor?
I have correction to make.
Okay, let's have a correction.
On the approval of minutes and number A, my name is missing an L. Miley. It's 2 L's. Otherwise, I'm good.
Okay, great.
So you want to
Okay.
buy an L?
Yeah, I'll go to L if I don't put it in there.
So all those in favor of approving amended minutes for the February 4th meeting, say aye.
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 Opposed? That passes. Okay. Public input. What do we have for public input? Miley, do we have anything?
I've not received any public input.
Okay.
Quick. Good.
Old business? Do we have any old business? Okay.
Not this evening.
All
Well,
right, new
basically-
business. The tea time block reservations. So this is what we talked about earlier. You're not talking about the nonprofits yet. You're only talking about the Men's and Women's Club and the Exchange Club. Those three entities.
Yes,
Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. So I had the opportunity to meet with all three of these groups. And I got a feel for what they're looking for. And again, the goal of this is really to indoctrinate what they do and what they do regularly. So what is in the report is really a draft, kind of a template, a form template, if you will, for a memorandum of understanding that we would strike with all of these groups. And I will say, I had some additional feedback after this report was put out. So I wanted to give that as well. The Men's Club is giving some feedback. I know for sure they want to address the cancellation no-show component within that template. I'll tell you, I'm okay with that. My goal, I think, tonight is if this committee is good with the rough kind of template, I think I'd like to work with the House subcommittee to kind of iron these out before they get to City Council. If that works for this group, so I can respect everybody's time tonight. But the Exchange Club's ready to go. The Men's Club had definitely that feedback. And again, I do want to be flexible, and I will say the Men's Club they show up. They're definitely a committed group, and they have the numbers to prove it. So I don't worry about them. Women's Club is the same way. The one change that's different from the report is the Women's Club is actually, they want to combine all of their, so 18 hole and 90s, they want to go all into one lump. So basically it's 10 hours, or it's 2 hours and 10 minutes on Tuesdays. And they're comfortable with that. And they want to work kind of just amongst themselves to really say, okay, 18 holes, we're going to take these, 90s, you've got these. And I'm comfortable with that. Vinny's comfortable with that. It's easier from a management perspective that they manage themselves. And they were good with that as well.
Yep.
So if there's questions, I'm happy to take them. If not, I do think maybe the best avenue next is the House subcommittee.
Yeah.
As far as the no-shows go for each particular club, if they don't want to pass it on to the particular player, should the club itself be responsible if by chance the course misses out on some tee times because of no-shows? And then have the club itself be responsible to cover it?
I think that's the goal. So right now it's kind of written that the club will be responsible to pay for it. And I understand that that's maybe difficult for the club. So maybe the language, it just needs some finessing that we will charge the appropriate player. And if there's an issue with finding that player, whatever it may be, or maybe they just didn't fill the spot and they didn't notify us, then we can speak with the club. Again, I want to be lenient to an extent, though, too. These are great organizations and they do a lot for the course as well. And so I want to respect that also.
Well, the men's club has some questions on the wording of the MOU.
Okay.
So we're gonna hold off on signing that. or sending it
Totally
back.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah, and I did speak with Kurt and did stress to him that I want to be flexible. I want to make sure it's comfortable for both the club and the city. That's the goal of this is to get everybody on the right track. And again, I think this House subcommittee can help us kind of iron out those things.
Who's on the House subcommittee?
Chris and I and
Everybody but Tim, you and
Darlin.
And Nick. Nick's not on any committee.
Nick,
Nick.
Parker,
Nick.
Chris, and Nick? Okay, is that it?
Parker, Chris, and Darwin, I believe. Wasn't it Parker?
I want to say something about the men's club tournaments that Dave Hamdorf runs a heck of a program, and he's inundated right up to the last minute on changes, cancellations. Can you get me on? He has a nice cancellation list that he can pick off and anything. So I think the next time there's an opening for a foursome that missed will be the first.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah, I totally agree.
I agree. Okay, so who's chairing the subcommittee on the House subcommittee? Is there anybody that been in charge of that? Would anybody volunteer to put this together with Samantha?
What I'll do is I'll draft up based on the feedback I get from the three different organizations. I'll send it to the subcommittee and I'll work to schedule another meeting with the three of you folks at another later date.
The issue I have, Samantha, is that you're going to meet with the subcommittee and the Exchange Club, Men's Club, and Women's Club, but it's 3 months before we meet again. So can we do an electronic vote or something on approving those memorandums? Don't we have to approve it?
Well, you could say that tonight you could vote as a committee that you're going to give direction to the House subcommittee to finalize the details. You could use this platform right now to speak all of your peace of mind and trust that the House subcommittee will digest that and translate it into an MOU that is comfortable. You could go that route, or we can take them back. I do want to say, if nothing happens tonight, nothing's going to change. We're going to keep running with the men's club and the women's club and the exchange club. We're not going to pull the plug on everything. So, it would be great, but it's not pressing. There's bigger fish to fry. So no pressure either way.
Formalization of the thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll get the ball rolling. If we want to bring it back, I'm okay with that. It's totally fine.
I have
Good.
confidence in our
Good.
House subcommittee anyway.
Yeah.
Let them run with the ball.
So Chris, do you want to be in charge of that committee?
As soon as I can get off mute, yes, that'd be great.
Okay. So Chris accepts the chairmanship of the subcommittee for the House committee. So there you go, Samantha.
Okay. Thank you.
So do you need a motion now for us to do that? So I'll make a motion that the subcommittee is given the authority to authorize and approve the individual memorandums of understanding between the city, golf course, and the various groups.
Could you say
Exchange Club.
that, Vic?
I'm sorry?
Could you say that again?
You didn't get it?
second it.
I need a second, Rick.
I second it.
Okay. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's an action item, Miley. Yeah, okay. Okay, is that it for new business?
That's
Perfect.
it.
Communications, anybody had any communications? No? Pretty quiet.
From the committee?
All right, Jordan, you're up. You gotta unmute yourself, Jordan.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just finished aeration, which was really successful. We had some rain that got delayed by a day, but overall, I think, yeah, we did great. Weather's cooperating now, so holes are starting to heal up a little bit. So, I mean, 4 weeks, I think we should be looking pretty good. We have a long time employee retiring next week. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough summer. We're going to be mowing, just kind of bearing down on the grass. That's about it. No projects other than resurfacing the tees, which is going to be next Tuesday. We're going to start tearing them up and then resodding them on the 18th. I have a crew scheduled to come in. And then kind of after that, we're just mowing Kikuya, trying to keep the course under wraps as far as just mowing and having everything manicured. No real projects on the horizon other than the tees.
Is that
Okay.
Enough.
Are you going to be able to replace that role, or?
Yeah, so we currently have an employee that's been with us for 3.5 years. He's at the low end position, so we're gonna bump him up, and then as far as filling those two positions, those entry level positions, we got to kind of rethink that. Try to be a little more creative with the climate out there, because every business that's open right now is hiring. So, I mean, as far as getting somebody in the door for $15 an hour or less, it's going to be quite difficult. So, yeah, Samantha and I got to kind of put our heads together and look at, other ways around that. And then with Bradley getting bumped up to a higher level in pay, it's going to give us a little more flexibility with what we can do as far as like agencies or like part-time work. So that's kind of, we're adapting right now, but I think we'll get something figured out.
Hey,
Jordan.
I would like it read into the minutes that Jordan needs some more help out there. He needs additional employees, whatever it takes, the city to budget for that, but he needs help. These guys can barely keep their heads above water with the mowing and the trimming and all that kind of stuff that takes away from any kind of special projects that the course needs.
Or everyday stuff, like for instance, raking the traps.
We have bunkers. We have trap rakes now. Yesterday.
We do.
When did they put the rakes back?
Yesterday.
Oh, okay.
No, they're in Tuesday.
Played the men's club tournament yesterday. We had bunkers. Now you can't improve your lie. You gotta. We got bunkers. I mean,
Well, as long as they're raked, because the traps were getting so compacted from lack of raking.
yeah.
So as long as, yeah, if people rake, do you have somebody that can go through and like rake them, like at least?
They have a machine for that.
Yeah, we do. And obviously, like in the wintertime, we're raking them 4 or 5 times a week. But bunkers is kind of the thing that is last on the list as far as morning maintenance. We're more concerned about the greens, tees, and the fairways. So with the soil temperatures amping up, the grass is going to be growing like crazy. So that's where our focus is. And bunkers is kind of getting worked down on our maintenance list. So from 4 to 5 times a week, it's going to be like 1 or 2, especially losing an employee.
Wow.
So the rakes will help.
Samantha, more help.
Yes.
I hear your SOS. I hear it from many levels, trust me.
Our assistant position just closed, so we're getting closer to getting a assistant superintendent, which is a good thing.
So
Well, I
there's,
noticed on the
go ahead.
financials, the golf course in 3 quarters of this year made $300,000 more than last year.
Well,
Yeah.
that goes without saying. We were closed last year.
So city council has a budget workshop. That date has not been determined yet. And I still have some meetings to go through with finance and the city manager still to kind of iron out the details. But you know, you all are stay abreast of the different things going on in the city, but certainly filling positions has been a big conversation through the pandemic and moving forward as well. I do respect that the golf is absolutely a different setup as an enterprise fund. So I hope to have a few more details moving forward, and then certainly at the budget workshop. I will share once that date's available. I'll share it with the committee as well as the budget document also, so you guys can review it also at that time. And it should be in the next couple of weeks is my guess.
Okay, can I ask the question, Jordan, just to give us all edification of what's going on? So it's you and how many people to maintain the golf course right now? How many do you have?
Right now, it's myself, a mechanic, and we have 5 laborers, and then we're going to lose 1 next week. So after
Okay.
next week, me, Nick, the mechanic, and four guys, 4 laborers.
We're also, Jordan is working on trying to find some additional contract help. We've done this in years past, and we're looking for additional help at that. It's already budgeted for. I will say, and Jordan kind of hit it on the head already, it's a tough labor market. We're having trouble hiring people, and I know every company is experiencing that. And as he said, you can drive down Del Mar and everybody's hiring. So we're trying to figure out the best angle to take, even when we are recruiting, to get good quality candidates as well. So there's a lot of balls in the air with it. But certainly we are going to look at bringing in some additional contract help to get us through the summer season also.
Great. That's good news. Thank you.
Yeah, because obviously the course is full every day. I mean, and it's getting a lot of wear and tear, and it just needs some help.
We have, Samantha, we have somebody contracted to do the wedding site as well as around the clubhouse. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
is that a maintenance, company? Could we have them do more, like do the traps?
Yep,
Is that
Jordan-
possible? Do something like that?
Jordan's got that on his radar as well. We're gonna
Okay, good.
look at all the possibilities at this point. We're not gonna leave any stone unturned because we need it.
Great.
Yeah, with Peter leaving, that's going to eliminate a conflict of interest because these contractors were making more than our current employee, and that just wasn't fair. So now that we're bumping him up, that's going to give us a lot more options as far as bringing in help from outside contractors outside the city.
Good.
So
Okay. All right.
Now that
Anything more
the-
for?
Now that the trees contract has been awarded, are there any plans on them working on the golf course?
yeah,
So,
July 1.
Yeah, and the golf course does not included in that tree contract anyways. The golf course, as it always does, operates on its own. So if there's tree work and such, Jordan's gonna get 3 bids and he's gonna go through that process. I will say we are we're working on securing some extra funding for the coming fiscal year. I know Jordan has quite a long list of trees that need a lot of help, and some of them need some removal as well. So that'll start July 1.
For those of you, Nick, and Parker and Chris, we did a tour, was it last week or the week before? And I'll get you that report. I sent it to Tim. I ran up the report and sent it to Tim and Rick and Jordan, and we'll send it to you also. Just kind of review it. It had a lot to do with the trees and so forth, trees and labor. So I'll get that report to you guys, or Jordan will get it to you tomorrow. You knew that, Jordan? I'm out here in Missouri someplace, middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I can forward it to everybody here.
Okay, great.
Dick,
Great.
does your report address the feedback I get is from the trees in the left in the valley there by 16 from the blue tees.
That was in there.
Just
Yeah,
too thick.
That's addressed too. yeah.
Okay. Get a lot of feedback about that.
So when you get it and you have other feedback, send me an email back, Nick.
Okay.
I always send it to Dave Hamsdorf. So he disseminates it with the other people in the men's club. All right.
Nick, if I
any
may,
other-
I have a couple
yeah.
couple of other items for the committee. I want to
Yeah.
talk briefly about, Jordan's going to be working on pulling out the pool noodles, things that are in the, cups, attached to the flag
Mhm.
stick. So we're going to pull those
Yay,
out in the
that
next
was my,
couple of
was
weeks
one of my
here.
questions.
Forgot they were there.
We need them in the pool now. I'm just kidding.
Are we pulling
We're
the pins
maximizing
now?
our resources. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
Are we
back.
back to pulling the pins?
Yeah, so we'll get back there. And then the other thing, I'm working on with Vinny and Dave as well, as we look towards that June 15th is the magical date of reopening. We're looking at what will change and what we'll kind of move forward with. We'll look at the walk-ups and all of those things will come back into play, the 2 people per cart, all of those factors. What we're trying to understand right now, though, is what the guidance could be coming from the state. And it's still not clear, other than June 15th is a date to be remembering, I think. So we're gonna, more to come on that, but do know that we are working at it, we're looking at it, and it is absolutely on our radar to move things forward for the golf course. And then the third thing, I wanted to make sure the committee was aware that City Council has requested to relook at the structure of all commissions and committees again. They did this a couple years back. So we're doing that again. So congratulations, you all just got your terms extended to August 31st. Thank you. So I am working on that with the city manager and the city clerk to understand the golf committee, BPR commission, all of those factions, and then community development, obviously, as planning and all of that. So more to come on that. You will all be notified if and when something gets onto the agenda. Oh, and then the last thing, I wanted to bring up, the men's club has offered to purchase and install a really incredible clock close to it's kind of a street clock. And Nick, you could probably speak more to it.
Yeah.
Close to the first tee. Do you want to talk about that, Nick?
Well, I think the kind of positioning we want is right where the cart path, where the driving range and the cart path, in that corner there. Put a clock that it's a two-sided clock, so you'll be able to see it from the first tee and from the driving range, from the pads on the driving range. It's
Is it a
not going to be a
Rolex clock?
Rolex. It's not going to be. It's kind of like the one at Torrey Pines, but if it's a Rolex, it's going to say ROLAX.
Good.
So as long as the committee's okay with that, Jordan
Yeah.
and the staff will continue to work with the club on that.
Yeah, I think that's cool. It's a good idea.
Good.
All right,
Nick, what
that's all I have.
happened? Nick, what happened to the benches the men's club was going to buy for the driving range?
They're there. They took them all out. Jordan, you have them stored somewhere? The benches?
The benches at the driving range, I believe they're there, but they're like flipped on top of each other.
Right, because of the
Dang.
COVID.
I think they've been there for so long that I've just forgotten about them.
I don't think they're on the driving. I don't think they're with the driving.
I think they're
There's
like
no benches
behind
on the driving
like the
range.
teaching section, but they're like flipped upside down, like on top of each other, so you can't use them.
Well, anyway, Dick, that's where they are. They were there, and then they took them out for the COVID.
So maybe
Okay.
June 15th, we'll get the benches.
I haven't seen any. There's a few individual chairs and there's that surfboard
Yeah,
at the other end of
that's
the.
why I don't know where they are. But we thought that you guys took them out because of the pandemic restrictions. So
We'll look at it. Jordan, let's look at it.
Yeah, I'll look at it tomorrow. I'm pretty sure they're there, but they're
See
like
where they're at.
out of order, so we can just flip them up and put them to use.
Okay,
Thank you.
good. Okay, anything else for staff?
Um,
Thanks, Samantha. Thanks, Jordan.
Yep.
Items from committee members, huh?
Are we pulling the pins?
We will be.
I believe so.
Please say.
We're going to be able to pull them out?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
okay,
don't have
cool.
to, but you can.
That was the one. Okay, that's pretty much all.
Is that all
I
you have, Nick?
I think so, unless,
Parker, do you have anything?
No, well, it sounds like June 15th is really the day we have circled on the calendar for like ball washers and full regular use of the carts and walk-ups. So those are really kind of the questions I was having around those.
Chris, do you have anything?
I noticed two things in the notes, and it sounds like one of them was addressed with Benny, and it was fine. In the notes of the MOUs with the different groups, one was with the ladies off the first tee and off the 10th tee, to make sure that we don't have traffic moving fast and then jamming up against the ladies as they're starting to tee up on the back nine. It sounds like Benny has already, he's comfortable that won't be an issue. The other thing I noticed was when we talk about payment, if we're going to have a process where where groups reserve tee times as a block, to have that in writing as opposed to calling in for cancellations. Specifically, if I've reserved a block of 4 tee times with my group and we're only going to need 2, I would need to send an email to confirm that, so that you've got something in writing from me that I've reserved and canceled those 2, as opposed to I call the shop, somebody doesn't write it down, or I claim that I called the shop and that somebody didn't write it down. By having it in writing, I think that would be helpful. And I think Samantha's going to incorporate that into the documents we're talking about. That's all I had, other than to say, Jordan, really impressed. Love the way the course looks around the greens. Tightening up the Kikuyu appears to be working, and it's nice to be able to chip with something other than a flop shot. Thank you.
Yeah, I've noticed that they're finally like releasing, like they hit the collar and kind of release a little bit. So definitely the new fairway mowers are helping us for sure. So no, it's been my pleasure. It's been fun.
Tim?
The cart path from the tee box, the asphalt cart path from the tee box on 17 to the fairway, there's a pretty good sized holes at both ends of it to where it's damaging probably the axles of the golf cart. Do you see that, Jordan, at all?
Yeah. That's kind of a project, we'll have to address hopefully in the fall. I hope we'll see what happens as far as staffing goes.
Can they be filled with DG in the interim, just so the golf?
Yeah, we can do something for right now, but long term we'll do we'll repave that, just work in sections with some asphalt. It'll be easy, but it kind of takes somebody all day, and plus we got to reroute traffic, so it's something you kind of got to do like early in the morning, so you have to have somebody freed up first thing. So but yeah, in the meantime we can throw some kind of even soil down, pack it in.
Okay. And then the other thing is I know we removed the drinking fountains. Now, are we planning on replacing any of them?
I think we talked about 5.
5 was one that we
9.
replaced.
And I think 5 was the only one we would talk
I think
about.
5s are the only one that we talked about replacing and just revamping it. So
What
yeah,
about
we can.
the 15th tee box.
15 tee box? No, because we have a drinking fountain on the 16 tee box.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So does that go into your budget for next year? Or how it's going to be? Those things are expensive, $5,000 to $6,000, $7,000, as I recall. Is that correct?
Yeah, we'll have to write it into the next year's proposal for the fiscal year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Rick?
Well, I was going to talk about the cart path on 17 as well. Even maybe get the deflector up there someday. But the holes are more important, I think. I'll just have to start drawing the ball or something away from the path.
If we do the permanent fix on the pavement down below, we can add a little stripe across the path up above, so they don't roll back to the floor.
Yeah, I hit it again last week. I rolled all the way back, but I'm getting used to that shot.
At least it's a flat
Go the
shot.
other way. I used to lose them in the tree, and thank you, Jordan, for clearing out the tree on the left side of 17.
Yeah, it was bad.
Okay, the only thing I have, Jordan, can you clarify what tee boxes you're gonna be working on right away?
Yep. Number 1,
And 16.
12 white tee and 16 blue tee.
Okay. All right, good. Okay, I don't have anything. I think the golf course plays pretty well. It looks great. I actually like the punch greens. They're a lot slower than they used to be. So it really makes it easier for me for putting. But anyway, I also want to commend you, Jordan, for doing a great job with the few people you have, because it's I don't know how many acres you have. What do you have? 150, 100, 200 acres of property to maintain with
147.
147 acres. with
Like
it.
of playing space. Like there's not including areas like 16 Canyon, all that, like of actual like maintained turf. Yeah, it's 147 acres.
Wow. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Hey, Dick,
Yeah.
the benches are on the driving, and stacked up on the driving range.
Stacked up.
Yes, behind the teaching section. Jordan was
Okay.
right.
I guess I never, no.
Yeah, we never,
Okay.
we never look over there.
Yeah. Okay.
Dick, I had one more thing I wanted to mention. As Samantha prepares to go into budget discussions, if we could ask to consider the putting green, to renovate that as we have in some meetings past. Right now, with the surplus in what we've made this year versus prior years, would be a good time to discuss making a few improvements. That, and then I saw the notes in the meeting minutes about improving the chipping area at the end of the parking lot as well. But it would be great to upgrade those two areas, and recognizing that Jordan doesn't have the staffing to do all of that right now, but to begin planning for it, maybe even have somebody from the outside come in to do some of it.
No problem.
Good.
We'll take a note of that, bring it up to finance.
Okay. Anybody have anything else? Okay, so we're on till end of August. We have a next meeting is August the 5th, as I recall. So I need a motion to adjourn the meeting till the
I'll make
August
a motion
5th.
we adjourn.
Rick,
Second.
second by Nick. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks,
Have a good
Smiley.
summer,
Thanks,
everybody.
Samantha. Thanks, Jordan, and everybody else.
Jordan.
Chris,
Bye, everyone.
Smiley.
Thank you.
Thanks, Miley. Thanks, Jordan. Thanks,
Chris,
Samantha.
before you
guys.
leave,
Yes,
um,
yes, Tim.
are you going to marshal down at the US Open?
I was looking forward to that, and I received a notice, as did all 75 of the people I had signed up on our team, that we would not be needed, that they would have very limited attendees. I did get a note about a month later that said I could work in the, I could go on at 7:30 in the morning with everyone else and try to get a job in the merchandise tent or in some of the other opportunities that were there. I understand those filled up within a couple of minutes. I was not on and didn't do that, but unfortunately, no, I won't be marshaling at the Open. We had planned for it. We were looking forward to it. Really disappointing. However, in 2 years, I will call Jordan and see if he's got any contacts and try to do the same at the LA Open when it comes back in, I think it's 2020.
I heard you had to have your shot card just to get down there and watch it.
I haven't heard that. I have heard that they're going to work really hard to have California residents, focus on California residents to minimize travel from out of town. But it's interesting that we're going to have, June 15th, the state opens, and That's right around the same time. I mean, it's right
Yeah.
around Father's Day.
Third week in June.
Open
Well, we have a guy in our group that already has his tickets, and on it was a stipulation that he had to have proof of validation of a shot card, so he's not going.
And I
Wow.
think we're going to see
Wow.
more and more of that. I'm starting to hear about people that are having parties and calling the guest list to see if everybody has had both shots. And if not, uninviting folks. And I think we'll see a lot more of that. The COVID passport is something I keep following and reading about. We'll see where that all lands.
Oh,
All right, guys, thank you.
all right, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank
care.
you, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. I'm finished. Ugh.